For Francis and his brothers, Claire and her sisters, and the Franciscan penitents, engagement with the world among the poor became a way of life, a dynamic venue of formation, and learning as witnesses of God's reign along the way through the world as servants and subjects to all. And the early rule would beautifully define how the early brothers served, how they worked, how they lived. 8 centuries after Francis' time, we continue to stand in the midst of massive poverty and migration, or even displacement of peoples. The working document, that is the New Evangelization, discussed by our church leaders, seeks to read and decipher the new sectors which have emerged in human history in the last decade, so that in turn, they might be turned into places for proclaiming the gospel and experiencing the church. I think I'm going to skip this slide. It's presenting to us some statistics on poverty, which is, well, it will go to you anyway. And also another YouTube work, The Earth in Simplest Terms, and it also defines to us the picture of poverty in our world today. As Franciscans go through the world, what other social and ecological situations confront us here and now? The working document, gathering from the responses of the working paper, identified the following sectors where new evangelization is called for, and it identifies 7. The cultural sector was mentioned in many responses as the place where secularizing trends are taking place at a rapid pace. The seculum is where believers and non-believers interact and share a common humanity. This human element is the natural point for faith to enter in, and consequently can become the privileged place for evangelization. As Franciscans called to go through the world, they are a very important place to live, to continually live in a more intensive way our Christian life. The second sector, the social sector, and the treatment of the phenomenon of the Great Migration, which is causing an increasing number of people to leave their country of origin, to live in urban settings, resulting in a meeting and mixing of cultures and contributing to the erosion of basic reference points to life, values, and the very bonds through which people build their identity and come to know the meaning of life. I don't know if it is a reality for most of us that there are many overseas workers, contract workers, and of course some priests protest that the Philippines take pride that we make beautiful the OFW reality by declaring them as the new evangelizers. I heard one bishop contesting them. They are sacrificing a lot, and to label them as new evangelizers is just covering the sad reality where they are in. And so the phenomenon of great migration, either caused by internal conflict or simply caused by poverty, is also a continuing challenge. And think of our being on the way. The Franciscans call to be on the way, the itinerancy. So it's another living challenge here. The third sector, associated with the subject of migration, which is becoming more and more incisive in society, is the economy. In great part, a direct cause of migration, the economy is highlighted for the tensions and forms of violence related to it and the inequality it causes within and among nations. Actually, war is not fought because of security only this time. It's also a war on resources, analysts would say. And of course, we know this time with the facility of the globalized world, in the slide I skipped, it says if a world were consists of 100 persons, only 20 of them owns the whole world's resources, and with a click of a computer, you know that billions of dollars are transferred from one country to another. And so all these things, the economy. An analyst is also saying something like, when will our economic situation implode on nations? And he was talking of the United States and the first world countries, and the reality of our billions of debts from us, developing countries. The fourth sector, the civic life, a commitment to peace, the development and liberation of peoples, better international regulation and interaction of national governments, the search for possible areas of listening, coexistence, dialogue, and collaboration between different cultures and religions, the defense of human rights and peoples, especially minorities, the promotion of the most vulnerable, and the integrity of creation, and a commitment to the future of our planet. Another sector where our Franciscan life and charism is relevantly challenged at this point in the new document. The fifth sector is scientific research and technology. Today, science and technology run the risk of becoming the new idols of the present. In a digitalized and globalized world, science can easily become our new religion. While more and more people will see the intersection of science, art, and religion, on the other hand, there is also this continuous threat that science, technology becomes our new religion with the new innovations. Mention all these genetic modifications, almost to the point of really destroying human life and its diversity itself. And the sixth, communication, the sixth sector for our new evangelization, provide great opportunities today, at the same time represent a major challenge for the church. I did not know how to accept candidates and ask them to do away with all their gadgets. Religion as a seventh sector, thereby providing the means to more thoroughly understand in many different cultures the return of a religious sense and the need for various forms of spirituality among the young. And the searching is so potent that the young people will embrace any form and at times put them all together to find a new spirituality. In what is it in terms of our application to our Franciscan formation to mission? Formation to mission necessitates the immersion to social realities, being led by the Lord, being taught by the poor, engagement with people, responding to the spirit of the gospel, and in the process, the experience of paradoxes. Because we are not led to flee these realities, but rather to meet them and master all our prophetic stance before these challenges. Formation is experiential. Formation to mission is experience on the way, not primarily in study rooms. Those who journey with candidates and the whole community accompany them through the paradoxes and tensions of choosing to respond according to the spirit of the gospel. And my experience of journeying with our 4 months is to strengthen them to make choices, to make real choices, because the secular offers more attractive options, very much contrary to the gospel. organization listed the 7 sectors. Formation to mission takes into account the candidate's openness to enter into these areas with initial preparedness and familiarity with the gospel values. Hence, there is a need for the ability to develop a critical conscience to work through situations of conflicts within and without, and to be a prophetic voice in the community. The ability to discern spirits, that is, to assess situations and structures in the light of the gospel values in order to initiate appropriate projects and pastoral plans, and then allow this to be continually reassessed as to their validity. That is from our lessons. Third, the community as learners. The presence of community as circles of discernment, equally immersed along the way, is the formative context of engaging with the poor, learning from them, and living among them as witnesses of God's loving relationship with creatures. The candidate is received kindly into the Franciscan way of life, is also echoed in the early rule. The candidate commits to promote the development of genuine community relations, engaging others in conversation, responding to community needs and emergencies, finding ways to building mutual trust and collaboration, still from our lessons. The Franciscan community is the venue of learning, as community of learners, as brothers and sisters, where we learn to live our Franciscan life together, even from the youngest novice. In his testament, Francis narrated how they lived according to the gospel. And after the Lord gave me brothers, no one showed me what I should do, but the Most High Himself revealed to me that I should live according to the form of the Holy Gospel. And hence it also explains his rejection of the rule of Benedict, not the rule of Augustine. And I had it written down simply and in few words, and the Lord Pope confirmed it for me. And those who came to receive that life gave everything which they might have to the poor, and they were content with one tunic, patched inside and out. Those who wanted with a belt of breeches, and we didn't want anything more from the Testament. Of course, it is at this point that Francis is already lamenting that his brothers and his followers are going a different way. We said the office, he says, Father. The clerics, as other clerics did. The laics said our Father. And quite gladly, we remained in churches, and we were without learning and subject to all. Implication to Franciscan formation. The learning community must take the following formative actions in order to open their whole being to the formation process of living the gospel life. And again, I took the following A to G from our lesson booklet. Learning from one another through listening. We need to have a horizontal understanding of formation. There is no classification of people into those who know everything and those others who know nothing. All are simultaneously teachers and students. Clare would remind us, the Lord often reveals what is best to the lesser among us. Sharing of experiences along the way. The wider range of experience within a given community, the greater will be the growth potential of that community, provided that the experience are not hoarded as personal possessions, but are shared with others. Reading the scriptures together, the one indispensable book, the Book of Life, for Franciscans is the scriptures. Francis wanted nothing else but to live the Holy Gospel. Francis and his brothers and all those who followed him responded to historical situations in manner